All right, Libras. So we are just about 7 hours away from Scorpio season officially beginning. And personally, I am feeling that like tension build myself. And I'm actually kind of having to like force myself to finish doing these because it feels like very heavy, very intense. Let me turn my light on. There we go. But for Libras, for Scorpio season, I think we're going to see a lot of you guys really pushing towards the need for freedom, truth, expansion, growth, really pushing on that letting go of any kind of like people pleasing that's maybe been holding you back. I know we've been kind of going through this for a hot minute, but we're getting near the end of it. So we're really starting to see this push to release anything that's keeping you feeling trapped or stuck or under somebody else's control or situation's control, okay? So I really think that's what we're going to be seeing throughout the majority of Scorpio season for you guys. Venus, your ruling planet, will move into Capricorn towards the end of Scorpio season, and that's when you'll start really seeing yourself kind of putting things to work, kind of rebuilding, restarting over when it comes to whatever it is that you've been releasing, trying to let go of, and starting fresh, okay? So let's pull the cards here and see what you guys can expect. So Scorpio season as a whole for Libras. Oops. Oh, we got two. Let's see here. We have Judgment and Page of Swords. So this is very much like, so South Node being in your sign, as it has been for quite some time, is very, a lot of times brings the past back around. So you may be in a situation where it's like you're given the opportunity to do something differently. And then we have this Page of Swords, which the Page of Swords is really curious, likes to learn. Maybe you kind of dismissed a situation in the past or didn't really take the time to learn anything about it. You just said, nah, I don't want to do this. You maybe did your little trying to balance the scales type of thing that you guys tend to do. Maybe you kind of did that and didn't really take the time to truly learn anything about the situation or people, places, things. So maybe you're getting this like Scorpio season is giving you this second opportunity to actually learn about that and do things differently this time around. What is something unexpected for Libra? 8 of Pentacles. So going back to the drawing board oftentimes. So like you've learned something new and now you got to go back and readjust what you were doing, readjust what you were working on. I do think that a lot of old conversations are going to be coming up from your past, and a lot of reassessing is going to be happening for you guys with your ruling planet being in Sagittarius the majority of the time, and Sagittarius' ruling planet currently being retrograde in Gemini. There's really like this rethinking things that have happened in the past and kind of realizing that maybe you missed something, maybe you were moving too fast, maybe you were just not really paying attention to something, and now you know that you need to go back and kind of look at that again. Maybe you were stuck in things being a certain way or wanting a certain thing to the point where you dismissed something that would have helped you have that freedom that you're now looking for. Okay, and you might be going back to the drawing board on that thing, whether that is a person or a job or a place or something along those lines. How to stay grounded. How can Libra stay grounded during Scorpio season? A lot of Libras have Scorpio placements, so you might be feeling a bit intense during this time. Okay, just keep that in mind. We have the Sun here, so make sure that you are staying in a place of confidence. Don't let, like, a lot of times when we go back and like review things and we see where maybe we screwed up, we made a wrong decision, or maybe we weren't paying attention, sometimes we'll get down on ourselves and we'll kind of beat ourselves up for that. Make sure you're not doing that, okay? Stay in your space of confidence. Make sure that you understand that you didn't have all the information at the time, or maybe you hadn't done some healing work at the time. Don't beat yourself up for what was, but be willing to fix it in the now if it needs to be fixed, okay? Excuse me. An important emotion Death and rebirth. There we go. So this is that transformation. Again, a lot of Libras have personal planets in Scorpio. Not everybody, but a good portion do. And Scorpio is really on transformation vibes right now. So I think this change for you guys, finding your inner balance rather than trying to project that outwardly, I think is really kind of what's been pushed on you guys for quite some time. And like finding this confidence in that change, in that transformation, being able to see yourself in a new light, being able to be proud of yourself for making this transformation for yourself instead of for others. Like that's an important emotion to have, to take that time to say, hey, I actually did this, right? I'm actually making these changes, and taking that time to be proud of yourself for it, right? That is a very important emotion to have, to be very just happy with yourself and finding that inner balance, that inner peace. Okay, something that will inspire. Four of Pentacles. Okay, so this is, looking at some of these cards here, I feel like this might be like a withdrawing, right? I think one of Libra, the reason why Libra gets a bad rap a lot of the times is because of that, like always trying to project that balance outwardly, right? So always playing happy-go-lucky, always playing devil's advocate, always trying to make everybody else around them feel comfortable and feel like everything is balanced outside of them. And now you're in this space where maybe you're pulling back from that in order to find that internal balance. And once you start feeling that and you start feeling more grounded in yourself, that's a very inspiring thing. Like pulling back instead of projecting out and looking within is really, really inspirational, because you're so used to feeling out of balance, and all of a sudden now you're feeling more grounded and more stable in yourself instead of worrying about whether or not everybody else around you is okay with that. Okay. Let's see, spirit guides speaking to Libra. Six of Cups. So there is, again, this connection to the past. Your spirit guides are knocking on the door. They're saying, hey, you overlooked this because whatever reason, maybe you were out of balance at the time. Maybe you were trying to create a certain image around you in order to maintain some type of balance outside of you, and you ignored something from your past because it didn't fit into that picture. Maybe your guides are telling you to look backwards right now, and with that Jupiter that is currently ruling Venus being retrograde in Gemini, this is really taking your mind back and looking over things, right? So there's something in that reviewing of the past, of old conversations, old thought patterns, where your spirit guides are going to yell at you like, hey, that's the one, that's the thing right there that you need to go revisit, right? That's the judgment there. That's that going back and getting that second chance and being able to do it differently, and this time actually learning what you need to learn in order to make it work this time. Okay, we have how to best support yourself. Oops, I'm gonna drop it. How can Libra, Queen of Pentacles. So again, this is with that groundedness, right? So we've got this grounded energy that's really inspiring you. Make sure you embrace it, okay? Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Because here's the thing, that as soon as you stop being a people pleaser, nobody else around you likes it. They are so used to you always giving of yourself at the expense of yourself that the second you pull back, they're going to start asking, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? Do you need help? Do you need to go see a therapist? Like, the things like that. But really all it is you're just taking care of yourself, right? So make sure that you are standing your ground on that. You need to find your grounded space, and you need to stand your ground on that. Don't allow anybody to pull you out of that. We do have Two of Cups on the bottom here, so this could be a relationship. This could be friendships. There's more than likely somebody from your past that you have probably let go of over this last year and a half, almost year and a half, I don't even know, where since the South Node has been in Libra, probably near the beginning of it, where you were still fighting the idea of not being a people pleaser, right? And they were trying to force you out of it, and you were like, no, never mind, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so that might be that situation that's coming back up as well. This may be like that person that was trying to push you towards understanding the concept of freedom when it comes to relationships and things of that nature, maybe even finances as well. So let's pull some clarifiers here on this Judgment and Page of Swords. Judgment, we have strength. So it is going to require some strength to do this. You're going to have to really lean into your confidence, lean into little ego, honestly. Because I think you're going to see a lot of pushback when you do go to revisit this situation. I think you're going to see some people around you trying to pull you backwards, okay? We have 10 of Wands. So yeah, we have strength and 10 of Wands here. I'll get one more for you as well. But this is not, it's not going to be easy for you to do, but it's going to be important for you to do. And I feel like a lot of it is because you're carrying more weight than you should be carrying. You're feeling very weighed down. And so you know that this is something you need to do in order to release a little bit of that weight. And it's going to take you having to really be willing to stand up against anybody who's saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? Blah, 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 right? Now, while I am generally a firm believer of exes are an exes for a reason, we also sometimes need to have that understanding that hurt people, and people can change. Now, that doesn't mean that you let people walk all over you. You don't let people convince you that they've changed when they sure haven't, right? But we also need to have that understanding that sometimes people will come around. Sometimes people will actually understand that they screwed up and make the changes that need to be made. And sometimes we realize that we screwed up. We're the ones that screwed up, and we need to go back and go, hey, can we talk about this? I'm sorry. Even if you're not going to get any kind of commitment or anything like that out of it, at least have that, the discussion, the conversation, and the apology that needs to be said during that time, okay? So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to feel heavy, but it's something that's necessary to happen. Let me get one more here on that. I don't care who you are. We've all hurt somebody at some point in our life. We've all been that hurt people person. That's a lot of persons. And we need to understand that I don't care how healed you are now, you've screwed up in the past somewhere. Okay, so make sure that you're not judging other people for screwing up as well, okay? 4 Wands. So this is that celebration, that commitment. You could be wanting to go back for some type of commitment here. And you might even be a little scared of it. It might feel like it's kind of hard, like you almost feel like you really screwed up or something like that. And you're a little scared of it, but there's something in here you need to learn. There's 9 of Swords on the bottom. So whatever this is that happened, it's really weighing on you. Like it's kind of like almost giving you anxiety or depression, or like you think about it a lot. You feel really bad about it. So even if you're not going to get what you want out of it, even if like there's not a commitment that happens, even if they shove the door and close the door in your face, right? This is something that I think you need to do for your own healing. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like groups like AA and all of that stuff, but they are right when it comes to the whole making amends thing. It helps your healing, even if you're getting a door slammed in your face. It helps your healing to be able to admit where you did wrong, okay? So let's pull some oracles here. What is influencing Scorpio season? Now with the sun in Scorpio, that Pluto at 29 of Capricorn is super duper in charge here. Like, so a lot of old things are ending. Old ways of do things are ending. The old kind of patriarchal attitude is ending. And this is gonna, It's going to be intense, and it is going to create a lot of transformation, okay? What is influencing this is new beginnings. So there's transformation, this death and rebirth here. There's an ending, but in order to have that new beginning, you have to let this ending happen, okay? So those new beginnings are really trying to come in. They're trying to knock on the doors, but make sure that you're allowing these old endings to happen. You are allowing your healing to happen. You are practicing self-awareness and admitting where maybe you had a hard time. What is your advice for Scorpio season? Transition. It just keeps going, right? We have, so definitely embrace those changes. Embrace the fact that we're moving into these new cycles. Embrace the idea of doing things differently. We're not going to keep doing these same things over and over again. Bottom of the deck is kindred spirits. I'm getting the vibe here that if this is a person that you're wanting to go back and maybe apologize to, have a conversation with, learn something from, this may be someone who's been through it themselves, so they understand where you're coming from. So really embrace that. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to get a door slammed in your face. You need to do these things for your own healing so that you can continue forward on your path.